right, guys, welcome. I know everybody's kind of like quiet, don't want to get all sweaty today, so we're not going to make you work out or anything, but it is going to be kind of a hands-on thing today, because what we're going to talk about is actual, I don't want to say correctives, because I think we're getting crushed with that this week, all right? But me as a coach, you know, that's what we're going to cover. What are my go-to exercises? I mean, you guys as coaches, how many here are coaches? How many are firefighters? Who works with firefighters? You need your go-to exercises, all right? And so I'm going to share with you over 7 years worth of experience to make my life easier when I work with over 500 firefighters, my go-to exercises. And what do you need? What do I mean by go-to? What do you guys think? I'm an army of one, and I have over 500 firefighters. Do you honestly think I spend all day working out with them? Look at me, I'm round. No. No. So what we really want to do is give exercises that are what? Safe? That they can do on their own at the firehouse. One, that'll fix their problems, even if they don't know it, which is the best exercise. And two, are we going to make it specific to their needs? Because how do firefighters work out nowadays? I'm tired of hearing that fitness is important. We already know that. We've beaten that to death. How do you usually work out? What do most firefighters like to do nowadays? Huh? Drink? 6-ounce curls. Well, let's see what they do. Basically, my job is to oversee over 500 firefighters. Okay? I have a lot of fancy letters at the end of my name. That means basically I'm in debt like the rest of the world. It doesn't make me smart. I can tell you I am not the smartest guy at this conference. But I have a lot of experience working with firefighters because I am one of probably 3 that I know of, full-time, city employed, dedicated to firefighters. I have my own turnouts. I get to play. I've done 24-hour shifts. I get ingrained in their culture, understand their psyche, see what they go through, and basically I'm their coach. At the end of the day, when people ask me what I do for a living, it's simple. I just take care of my guys. The greatest compliment I ever received was, hey, coach, it's nice to know that someone looks after us. And that's really what my job is. Okay? It isn't like, hey, you got to stay in shape. My programs, you don't want to do it? I don't care. Don't do it. You ain't hurting me none. I got a paycheck. Everything's voluntary. Don't want to work out? I don't care. Back hurts? You want my help? All right. No? Suffer. Let's look at the whole definition of athlete and tactical athlete. How many actually think firefighters are athletes? We can agree to disagree on this because it's a coin toss. It's a physically demanding job, correct? So is construction. How many 50-year-olds do you know that are athletes? Exactly. They're an athlete to a point, but then we have to change our focus. Because let's look at what the athlete is. Skilled in exercise, sports, or games requiring physical strength and stamina, tactical, military, special ops, forces, law enforcement, fire rescue. The funny thing that I've learned, I learned it from my colleague Tyler Christensen, who works with the Army. Firefighters are great at their skill. So if you look at the Great Cook model, it's movement, performance, skill. When you work with the tactical population, it's the opposite. They are great at their skill, correct? Firefighters are good. They know how to pull hose, throw ladder, and do all that stuff. They can always perform at a high level, can't they? They know how to push. Most of my guys know how to push when they need to, regardless of how in shape they are. But what don't they do well? Move. Because what does the job force them to be? I don't care if you're sitting as a captain doing paperwork all day, you're an engineer, or you're on the nozzle. You're always forced in this position. If I put a bottle on your back, how do you stand? Those who went through an academy? If not, they would fall over, right? So basically, that's what we're looking at. Are they athletes? How about your chief or your BC? How about your AC? He's still a firefighter. Is he an athlete? Yeah, probably not, right? They're the worst ones to get working out, by the way. The young guys, they're easy. Getting that chief get his ass out of that chair and do something. The only time they come to you is when they say what? My back's killing me. I'm about to retire. I don't want to hurt no more. So this is how they differ. Athletes have a defined season, Specific training, a lot of practice time, ages range from 10 to 22 years old. Tactical athletes, no season. Does that make it hard to create a periodized program? You can tell me undulating and all these different things. I can tell you I made the greatest workout on paper when I first got hired. I mean, this baby was money. I had speed, power, agility, strength. I had it all. Here you go. What do you do? What the hell is this? This looks great. What do I do with it? I got a wife, a kid. I got 20 minutes at the Firehouse. And when I go home, I got a honey-do list the size of my leg. What are you, crazy? It's going to take me 2 hours. And I was like, oh, he's right. No predetermined date or event, no practice time, lack of time, age. So you have different variables now that you have to put into this. You have a lot of different variables. It isn't just cut and dry. Let's make a periodized program. I ain't gonna lie to you, that's horseshit. First and foremost, I tell them, get up and do something. I don't care if you want to do CrossFit, do it. Do P90X, do it. Jump up and down, do it. Do something. Then we can refine it. The first goal is always to get them to do something, make it a priority, okay? What we get into the habit of, if I insult somebody here, I apologize. A lot of times firefighters have a good way of buying their own bullshit. Really? Okay, you as coaches, what do you see when you see this? Is this their job? What should you see when you see this right away? Injury. Injury. And if you don't, you're crazy. Because I can tell you right now, a pull-up with the PPE on, 85 pounds of load, what do you think their shoulders are going to feel like afterward? What's the worst thing you can do to a firefighter? Put them on light duty. They hate working 9 to 5. They go nuts. And as a coach, that's my ally, because they're like, tell me what to do. I don't want to work in the office no more, and my wife is going to kill me. All right, stop doing that shit. Really? Well, coach, this is what we do. Really? Can you really simulate 800 degrees wearing your PPE? If we do this, I call this training. And if you're a firefighter, what do I mean? You're out at the brickyard pulling hose, throwing ladders, and practicing your skills. You're working on a new rescue, maybe new low angle. You're developing your skills. Does that still work? That's a workout. Guys, if you've never put on, those who've not a firefighter, and put on the gear and thrown ladders and pulled hose, I'm telling you, it's a workout. But it's specific. What does exercise do? It complements the job. It does not replace it. That's why elite athletes work out now, to stay injury-free, right? So I want to give firefighters exercises that'll keep them in the game so they can train harder. Go into the burning building. We can make smoke barrels and simulate 800 degrees with black smoke, and I know if they can move properly, they won't get hurt. Therefore, they'll be a better firefighter. But this, I'll tell you right now, at Sacramento City, we're pretty busy. And I work with slower departments. If I see this, I go, man, you guys don't run enough calls. You don't run enough calls. Really? Because how would they feel after working out like that? In my firehouse, in my companies, if you worked out like that and you were wiped out and you get 20 calls a shift, you're toast. You're done. You're done. So remember, exercise complements the job. It doesn't replace it. So that doesn't mean you can't push them. It doesn't mean you can't challenge them. But we got to pick some exercises that'll be challenging without hurting. Functional versus specific. I usually ask a firefighter, why do you do so many overhead presses and thrusters? What is usually the common response? Say it again. Pulling ceiling. Stand up for me. Show me pulling ceiling. Show me presses. Show me pulling ceiling. Thank you. Get it? When do they get hurt? Pulling the ceiling. But I need to do a lot of presses overhead. So what should we focus on? The scapula, retraction, retraction, retraction. Just like the exercise here. When you do that to a firefighter, they kind of go, ah, shit. You got me. You got me. So let's make it specific. Like I said, sometimes we have a way of believing our own, hey, I do, believe our own bullshit. Functional, pulling hose. I know for a fact I am done doing planks with my guys. I'm done with it. They carry a bottle on the backside. What are they doing? They sit on the recliner. They're doing crunches all day long, and I can tell you, we do the movement screens. They're super strong on the front side. But what type of movement pattern does a firefighter do that usually hurts them? Rotational. So where do they really need to be strong on? Lateral core. So we do a lot of side bridges because this, if you're in a fire academy, you're going to be pulling hose 20, 30 times a day. That's going to really torque you up. So we do a lot of anti-rotational exercises as well as dynamic with the rip trainer. Using a metasopal, getting the hip involved. Side bridging. Functional, climbing ladders. Firefighters love to do step-ups. Why? Do you really climb 20 flights? If it's past 6, what are you doing? Ding! But they get in there and they go, hey, we got to do a lot of step-ups because that's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do. Really? That's what you do. How your knees feel? They hurt. Okay. Well, that's how I get in the rig. Really? Is it? I've seen you. 1 o'clock in the morning. What'd I just do? That's how they get into a rig. But why do their knees usually hurt? What do they usually lack? Hip mobility? Because they're old. They are. Young guy can do anything, right? We were all young one day. We're like, hey, I could do that shit. How many times have you seen a young guy in the firehouse go, hey, let's do CrossFit. Come on, Captain. Captain's like, yeah, no. Not doing it. Good for you, kid. And he'll tell you it's got nothing to do with pulling ladders and throwing ladders and pulling hose because he ain't doing it. He's like, my body hurts. Crossover step-ups, hip mobility. Patient lifting. A lot of people love to do that deadlift stuff. We only deadlift with a hex bar. The first time they deadlift with the hex bar, they usually tell me they feel it here. So if we do heavy here, what am I developing? Lower core. And if I'm strong here, where am I going to be strong? L4, L5. And what's the highest injury? Back injury. So here's some of the things that I've discovered over the years. They forgot how to hinge or maybe didn't even know how to do it to begin with. Hex bar does a good job of reteaching that. Kettlebell swings do a great job of reteaching that. 2, they're unable to stabilize their pelvis. Have you ever heard this? Hey, coach, it hurts when I walk, but it doesn't hurt when I run. Why? I'm loaded when I'm running, so my pelvis has to stabilize. It doesn't when I walk. But here's even funnier. Ask a firefighter to do this. How many firefighters here? Most of your back pain is on the left side, correct? When it starts to ache, 90% of the time when I ask my guys, they go, yeah, it kind of does. I never thought of it. Have them stand on one foot. Here's a screen, real simple. Have them stand on their right foot. How long are they supposed to stand for? 10 seconds. You do their left. They go, that's no big deal. Do their eyes closed. They'll go. They can't stabilize on their right hip. So what does that mean? Why can't they stabilize on their right hip? What side do you guys throw ladders from? No, it's not the strong side. Because well, maybe it is for some departments. In our academies and stuff, they don't teach the left. Why? Because they don't know how to. It's not in the manual. So tough shit, kid. That's what the manual says. I'm not teaching you from the left. You're going to learn right. So we throw ladders from the right. We pull hose from the right. We do carry tools from the right. And I split my body in half. So what does that mean this muscle gets? Stronger. Okay, we'll look at it in terms of stronger. The body works like an X, so that means this hip gets what? Stronger. I never do anything on the left, so what is it getting? Weaker. That's why they can't stand on their right hip. 99% of the time. Play with them. I had 6 guys last week come in with different symptoms, all with the same problem. Can't stand on their right hip. QL muscle's weak. So we're going to give you some strategies to how to fix that. They have limited thoracic and hip mobility, poor scapular stability, poor glute function, right? Butt amnesia. Most firefighters can't squat properly because they usually, what happens to their pelvis? It goes under. So what do we usually tell them to do when they go to the WOD? Lots of barbells and lots of front presses, and they can't squat. They can't control their pelvis. Tight hip flexors, weak core. They have a weak low core and weak here, but we keep telling them to plank. Really? Enough with the planking. Side bridging, then rotate to front plank, then rotate back. And they have very poor force absorption. I can tell you for a fact, my number one A exercise, because I have 1B, that I can't stand is box jumps. Why the hell is a 40-year-old doing box jumps? If someone could give me a legitimate reason why a firefighter needs to do a box jump, I'll listen. I have an open mind. But my question to you is, do they get hurt jumping up on the rig or jumping off? Always off. They don't know how to land. So what should we be doing? And landing. Within the academy, we start jumps and teach them to land. Next week, we put a box, step off, land. And then what do? Getting off a rig? How many have seen sprained ankles jumping off the rig? They don't know how to absorb force. Poor glute. But yeah, coach, jumping up is hard. I'm a white, barely 6-foot dude. There's no need for me to jump anymore. I just hit it from the outside. No. Not. You'll hear clank. So we got to stop with the box jumps. I had a guy last week, true story, come in to see me. Coach. I go, what'd you do? Blew up my patella. I sat back. He goes, all right, go ahead. I go, what were you doing prior to your snowboarding accident, which he just fell? I don't want to tell you. You know, because I watch my guys on Facebook. I go, yeah, you were going to CrossFit, which was owned by a firefighter. And I said, you were doing a lot of box jumps, weren't you? And I'm not knocking CrossFit because everybody does them. P90X, big time, plyometrics. So basically, he said, yeah. I said, you were doing a lot of wall ball squats, weren't you? Yeah. And what do I do when I do a wall ball squat? Where's the ball go? Versus straight above me. So I put a lot of pressure on my knees. He goes, yeah. I said, were your knees hurting? He goes, oh my God, for the past month, they were killing me. But it was a tough workout, huh? Well, 6 months, baby. That's going to be fun. I said, you might as well just kiss your ass goodbye because it's going to disappear. But how do we train them? And I'll show you how. Correctives. Okay, so we teach the hinge again. We're going to go over some exercise, strengthen the posterior. You've all heard this. So we're going to show you my favorites. I'm going to ask for some volunteers. Come on up. Somebody, I'm not going to get you sweaty, I promise. How many have experienced this? Anybody ever use these? Okay, these are very, very good if you're a coach in the fire service because you can bridge the gaps. You can get the old guy and the young guy working out together. You're not going to isolate them, which is very important in terms of crew development. Back in the day, 7 whatever years ago, the young guys loved to work out hard and the old captain would be like, yeah, no. But now we can give them exercises on these and still get them part of the crew, get them working out. So we need to find exercises that are going to be fast and effective too, because time is the limit. So I want to strengthen the posterior and lengthen the anterior, lengthen the front side, strengthen the back side. So go ahead, guys, and grab the TRX, one of these TRXs. I'm going to show you 2 exercises that I love with the TRX that can do that like that, because time is always of the limit. So we're going to face me, guys. Yep, take both hands. And what you guys are going to do is take a big lunge, step down, and let it stretch you out. Big step, and let it stretch your chest out. So what are we getting? Opening up. And then push back. And then step the other leg. Get that chest, right, and back. So we're getting a good pectoral stretch, which is going to open up our shoulders a little bit more. Can we do this in the academy when we have limited time? Are we getting the glutes activated? Is it specific? Because firefighters work like this, don't they? Not like this. So we should do single leg stuff. All right, now you're going to step out with the right and turn right. Straight down, turn to the leg that's in front. Step right, turn right. Straight down to the ground. Put your knee on the ground. Feel that hip flexor? And then push back. Now we're opening up the hip flexors. 90% of their back pain is not coming from their hamstrings. I can guarantee you that. I've actually run into firefighters where they think, oh, my hamstrings need stretching. They've overstretched them. They've overstretched them. So we do a lot of RDLs to get them strong again. All right, good. And relax. So what I want you guys to do next is we are going to set this up to knee height. And what we're going to do here is show you an exercise that shows you how unstable they are in their pelvis. Think about it. They climb ladders like this, don't they? And they're carrying with load. And if I can't stabilize my pelvis, what am I going to do? Collapse? Hurt myself? So you guys are going to lie on your back facing the anchor point. Just pick up your feet. I'll put your heels in here. Nice. All right. This one I love because no matter how strong they are, they always have a tough time with it, and it opens their eyes on how important it is to stabilize their pelvis. Gentlemen, lie on your back, hips up. Dorsiflex. Why do we always want to make sure they dorsiflex? Because they lose the ankle mobility because of their boots. So keep your hips up high and bring your right knee in. Good. Bring it back. Bring your left knee in. Up. Right hip as the left knee came up. Sawing. Hip collapsed. Do it again. Right knee in. Back. Left knee in. They will usually saw on the right hip. They usually had never problem on the left. So that means when they bring this leg up, what do? Collapse. Makes sense? Warm up. Corrective. Hard. Hamstrings. Specific. Can they do it without killing themselves? You should see them struggling. They shake like a hound dog shitting razor blades. Hips up. Squeeze the butt. Right knee. Back. I'm from New Jersey. I don't know how not to curse. I promise myself that I never will curse, but it just never happens. Good, and relax. Take your feet out. Thank you, gentlemen. Come on over here, guys. So now we're going to go into the whole core thing. You heard TRX talk earlier about the core. I'm sure Chris Frankel said it. I need to be stable here to be mobile out here, correct? That's the idea of the core. I need to be stable here to be mobile out here. What is the perfect example of in the fire service? Flowing water. I'm down here. I got the nozzle out in front, and I got to advance it. Duck walk. So I need to have good hips, strong core. So we plank all day, right? No, we don't. Got to put these around your ankles, guys. Mini bands, lots of fun. Thank you to Perform Better and Gopher for all their help and TRX. All right, face me, both of you. Come on over here. So what we're going to do here is I want your toes in, heels out. Squat a little bit. Push your knees out over your feet. Good. Now, walk. Walk. Yeah, push your knees out, push your knees out, push those knees out, push those knees out. Yeah, you feel your butt now? Feel the butt? Yeah. Good, walk backwards. Good, good. Walk sideways. Drive the heel, drive the heel, drive the heel, drive the heel, not the toe. Drive the heel. Good, stop. I noticed something. Did anybody notice when they went lateral, what did they had to do? So what does that mean they're weak in? Let's mess with this. Do one guy at a time. Stable here to be powerful out here. Same position, toes in, heels out, push your knees. You can stand up a little higher if you want. Good. Here's the nozzle. Go like that. You're going to fight the resistance. Walk. Breathe, for crying out loud. You're going to die. Backwards. I can know he's not breathing. I don't have to look. They all do that. Don't be shocked if they don't fart. And relax. All right, we're going to go side to side. Okay, nozzle out, walk that way, go. Don't let me push you around. You're a big, strong guy. Heel, 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 heel. Back the other way. We don't want you to be crooked. Don't guess, react. Don't guess, and relax. What happened that time when I engaged your core? You feel your hips more? Because your core had to do what now? Engage. Stable here to be powerful out here. If they had back pain or tightness, what would happen to it? It would probably go away. They'd go, ooh, I feel looser. Ah, see that? All right, thank you guys. Take it off. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. What's your name? Marcelo. Marcelo, thank you. What's your name? Daryl. Daryl, thank you. All right, so there's some good little tricks. Expensive? Hell no. Cheap. Get more out of these things. My guys hate these things. They're like, seriously, can't we bench press 300 pounds? That mini band, a rubber band, I hate them, coach. My butt hurts so bad afterwards. Hey, it happens. All right, so then we want to go into other exercises like the suitcase carries. We as training firefighters, they get too much into barbells. I don't let my firefighters train with barbells. I don't want to train them on this plane. They don't do that, okay? We want to train unilateral. Don't they do everything in one arm? So why are we using barbells? I don't get it. They don't do that. We don't squat. They may deadlift, but they don't squat. They walk on one leg. Do the evolutions. Get out there. If you're not a firefighter, get out there. Put that gear on and run with that stuff. You're going to be on one leg, and you need a lot of stability because those boots are not kind. So we want a lot of single stuff. We will occasionally do pull-ups. I got no problem with that. I'm an ex-kayaker. But we do a lot more low rows. Low rows. Where does the body pull us as a firefighter? So what do I want to do? Open them back up. The TRX low row is one of the great ones. And you'd be amazed. They can do all the kipping and pull-ups, and then you tell them to do a low row, and they can't do squat. Can they do single arm? Yes, just like the picture shows. I love RDLs, single leg. Once we teach them how to hinge again with a stick, aim for the arch, tell them. Aim for the arch or the shoelace. Because if I aim out in front, what am I going to do? Shift my weight forward. If I aim for the arch, what do they do automatically? They hinge back. They hinge back. So we want to do more single arm, single loaded. If we do squats, I'm not against them. Here. Not evenly loaded, here. Because what am I fighting now in terms of core? Correct. Rotation and flexion. So we change it up. Any instructors from the academy? One of the things that usually are common is when you have a young female who can't throw a ladder. And they do this. What did my hip do? Hey, baby. So most people would say we need to give more push presses. What should we do? And why a kettlebell? Which way is it pulling my arm? Which way does the ladder really pull your arm? So they're learning to stabilize, drive through the center, and keep their hips strong for transfer of power. They'll eventually do this at first. You teach them stabilize, squeeze the hip. Then we can pick them up, and then they'll throw the ladder within a week. Within a week, because they'll have that hip stability to do it. I don't believe in, oh, they're not strong enough. Horseshit. It's my job to get them there. So let's look at what they really do. If you have back pain, we should know for a fact they shouldn't be squatting, but what could they do? Now we load them up with one kettlebell. Injury prevention, specific, and they're working out. We get too wrapped up in correctives. Way too wrapped up. Is that a corrective? Every exercise is a screen, and every exercise is a corrective, if you coach it right. In my motto, every exercise is a screen. I'm always coaching. Hips back, dude, hips back. Wiggle your toes, all right. You know, tuck the chin, tuck the chin. Always coaching, every exercise is a screen. Mobility, T-spine. They get very, very tight in their upper back. I'm starting to believe that most of their back pain comes not so much from the lack of hip mobility, but the T-spine mobility. Because they all go to the chiropractor and they go, ah. So I love the TRX T-spine. I stand sideways, keep my body in good alignment, open up, breathe, and open up a little more. I'm locking the hips in, which locks my lower back. This is what you generally will see. And I breathe. They can't open up. Then afterwards, they're like, I like that. That's good, coach. Do we want to lengthen these muscles? Remember, this one's always working, so it's probably tight. Long torso stretch. I'm at the division of training. And guys will have classes. It ain't unusual to see them come out just before lunch and be like, what's up, coach? Sitting all day. Got to stretch this muscle. Oh. They do. It's like, cool. They're stretching the right muscles. They need to lengthen these muscles. They're sitting all day. They get tight. So what happens to their back? It hurts. Here's a funny one that I just realized. I took a class the other week on DNS. Ask your firefighter to breathe. What do you think their chest will do? Where should they breathe from? Where will they breathe from? Do you know why? Because they're always under stress, which forces you to become a chest breather. So I've been on, hey coach, could you come to Firehouse? My back's killing me, my neck hurts, I'm locked up from a fire. All right, and I come in and say, breathe. Yeah, that's not good. So what do? Crocodile breathing. Get on the floor and breathe for me. Push your belly into the ground. Oh, I feel so much better. All right, see you later. Do the T-spine thing. Really, that's it? Yeah, see you. Okay? 90% of movement dysfunction comes from poor breathing habits. Because if I'm a chest breather always walking like this, what does my back do? Then my neck hurts, so on and so forth. So they become automatic chest breathers. And then we put them in this position. Now try to breathe. It's kind of hard. You get the young kids nowadays that don't play, and they come into the fire academy. I got sports-induced asthma. No, you don't. You're fat. Because you've never been tested for it, have you? No. Breathe. All right. Belly breathe. Now finish your lap. Oh, it was hard, but I felt better. Look at that. I'm like medicine. All right? So you got to get them to belly breathe again. Keep losing my little pointer. The next exercise that I love, a go-to exercise. All right? How many have done this? Has anybody ever done bottom-ups? It's a go-to exercise. All right? If you listen to Stuart McGill, it's a great one. They don't need to lift heavy because what do they need to have a strong what? It's going to stabilize their pelvis and strengthen up the QL muscle. And as well, when I'm walking, what is it going to strengthen up the other side? The hip. So the guy with the patella problem, his is in the right leg. So can he walk like this with a light kettlebell? He goes, man, my butt is firing. It's killing me. Because this side is not loaded, but this one is. When you do it with your firefighters, they'll laugh at you at first. They'll think you're nuts because you're supposed to carry big, heavy things. And I'm like, really? Do you carry 2 hoses? No, that's what the Proby's there for. So they'll go, big deal, coach. Got this. All right, do the other arm. What did I tell you about this hip? What the hell, coach? What's going on? And I go, don't hit yourself, you look stupid. Then they just go, whoa, because once they know it's hard, what? Yeah, they want to do it. Corrective? Hard? Safe? Effective? All right. Going to protect them? Specific? All right, go-to exercise. And it's humbling, because they're all like, they all want to try to grab the 24. Yeah, no, I'm going back to the 16, coach. The single wall slides. A lot of people do it. They're great if you have to do rehabilitation, if that's not your scope. I like to do them on the TRX because what do I have to maintain? Posture. Remember, we can still do correctives and still be in the game and not have to baby them. What if they can't do that? What can you do? Do this with your firefighter. Hey, man, put your arms over your head. How do you think they would do it? How are them thrusters working out for you? Well, how are those Olympic snatches working out for you? This is trying to jam 2 fat guys through a door, and they don't fit. But you tell them, drop an arm. So now when you do your WOD, do it with a dumbbell snatch. Do it with a kettlebell snatch. Because I've opened up one arm has allowed the other arm to do it without injury. Corrective? Safe? And they can do it. Are you taking them out of what they like in their element? No, they like to do the WODs, great. Just do this one instead of this one, because you don't have the mobility in your back to do it. So do the dumbbell. I'm cool with that. If we do the wall slides, you got to maintain that posture. The next thing you want to look at is basically their core. All right? They carry hose on one shoulder, they pull hose on one side. We want to do lower core development. I'm not worried. The number 1B exercise I hate, crunches. No firefighter should ever do a crunch ever again. You're doing it all day. And you can argue with me till you're blue in the face, that's fine, I work with them. This is a crunch all day long. I have too much research behind me. Dr. McGill's way smarter than me, so I'm going to take his word for it. Gray Cook's way smarter than me, I'm going to take his word for it. Okay, Chris Frankel, way smarter than me. But I want to develop down here, so what's a good exercise? I like the TRX body saw. Now, you could do it without a TRX. And they feel it within their lower abdominals. But when we put it here, they're going to feel it more. And then they try to overreach, and they fall. I'm okay with that. Lesson learned. See how weak you are? Okay? You really want to start developing the lower abdominals and the sides. And the sides. Don't worry about the upper. They're getting that all day long as it is. All right? We want to make sure that they can stabilize their pelvis. That's where the runners come in. But then we go into lateral movement. You ever notice firefighters actually do a lot of rotation and lateral movement? What about pulling hose? Is there twisting and turning? They come up to the engine, right? They pull it out. They turn, pull more, come, flake it out, shift over here, go over here, lay it all out because they pulled it wrong. So now they're like, oh, crap, I got to readjust everything. Not ready for water yet, not ready. Captain's like, what are you doing, monkey's ass? They don't move side to side, though, when they exercise. They do everything forward and backwards and up and down. What do they need more of now? So we'll make them do 4, then 4. If they don't have this hip range, lower the box. All right? Then they do 4 and 4. Then they walk to the other side. Up, back, over here, 4 and 4. Is that getting in and out of an engine? Is that injury prevention? What are they doing when they come down? Learning how to control it. Am I strengthening up these muscles because I'm unequally loaded? Can they do it on their own? What if out they have knee problems? Is it going to help? Because what is this, knee dominant or hip dominant? Drive through the heel. Drive through the heel. What you'll see eventually, at the beginning. So I come over and I poke them in their butt like that and go, squeeze. Rule of thumb, if you work for city or government, this is coaching. This is a lawsuit, okay? You need to activate their glutes, do this. Don't do this. That's a lawsuit. So I come over and go, hey, drive through the heel. Whew. All right, maybe you do that for the first week. And then progress to here. Get more hip mobility. We showed this to our guys. They use it as a warm-up. Awesome. I like that, coach. That was a good warm-up. And then what can they do? Whatever. Do all the WODs and circuits you want. I just took an exercise and made it correct. That was corrective as a warm-up. Cool. Are we gaining that hip mobility? Yeah. They're stepping down. They're learning how to come back down again. So they're that is like probably one of my #1 go-tos. Do a lot more split kneeling. Don't do always over presses two-legged. Split. Down here, one arm. The rip trainer is an excellent one to teach anti-rotation. Anybody ever do lateral presses? The Palouf press, whatever you want to call it. Here, out, hold. Even better. Here, out, up. Now we're getting ready for overhaul. Okay? Want to go crazy? Go crazy. Dynamic rotation occurs in what type of movement for a firefighter? Hose, forced entry. Drive the hip. Drive the hip. What we got to realize is if I can do it here, will I do it out there? What's it called? Muscle memory. So if I can do it here and coach them and they do it, I know pretty much they're going to do it over there. Know this, you can't prevent all the injuries. It's a hard job. They're going to get hurt. You can't protect them. We can't stop them from being firefighters. You can't fix stupid either. But the idea as coaches is to educate them. Is to educate them. You need your go-to exercises, the ones that are going to work. And you give them 1 or 2. It's like a relationship. You're teasing them. Just like my wife did to me. And then she got me, and I was like, oh, shit. I had a practice wife. It was still the same thing. But no, seriously, you give them 1 or 2. Hey, do the laterals. Tell me how your back's feeling afterwards. Feel your butt more? Yeah. Hey, do those runners. Watch how your hip drops every time you bring up the left leg. And you'll notice these. You'll have your outliers, but you'll notice the same thing over and over and over. I ain't gonna lie, like we screen our pre-academies. I'm done screening firefighters, really. I'll say breathe, stand on one leg, and I'm like, yep, same crap, always, unless it's something out of the ordinary. You got your outlier. Because you're going to say the same thing within your department now. Does your call volume play a role? If they're busy. Are they ALS? Are they BLS? Do they transport? Do they run with 3? Do they run with 4? Do they run with 2, like Calgary? All of that's going to determine what you start to see. But if you start seeing the same things over and over, you can link it back to what? the job. And we don't want to baby them. They're firefighters. They're strong. Keep them strong. Give them exercises that are difficult, but you know are going to benefit them. Trust me, the bottoms up, they're going to be like, whoa, that was hard, coach. We love the rip trainer in terms of chops, lifts, twists. What about this? I'm fighting the rotation, so I got to stabilize and anti-rotate and still press. What about this? Can you do those in circuits? Absolutely. That's when we do it, and the guys are like, I love that. Can we get that for the Firehouse? So, be careful. Instead of crunches, more side planks, bottoms up, suitcases. Limit your planks, more side stuff. Squats, overhead, back, lateral step-ups instead, more crossover, single leg squats. Instead of pull-ups all the time, do more low rows. Instead of improper push-ups and handstand push-ups, really? I was at the Olympic level. We didn't stand on our heads. That was called a gymnast. Do more split kneeling. I mean, if you can do it, God bless you. I'm 38 years old, and my shoulders would say, yeah, no. Barbell snatches. Instead of always barbells, what could we do? Dumbbells, the kettlebell. Should the kettlebell go high? On the swing, should the kettlebell go high? How many say yes? Because you saw it on YouTube. Where's my man Czar? Is he still here? No, kettlebells come to here. Correct? Why? Because Stuart McGill proved it. If anything above this height will shred your spine. But we just told you firefighters can't do this, but yet they do this all day on YouTube. And then they come to me and go, my neck hurts. Do you think? Well, that's how they were on YouTube. Oh, well. A doctor told me the other day I was Google smart. I like that. So keep it here. Work on the hinge and explode through the hips. That's why it's great. Instead of box jumps, teach force absorption. Here's the trick what people don't realize is with the kettlebell snatch, what are you doing? Pulling in and punching up. You're not just letting it swing out. If you let it swing out, that's a lot of torque pulling you, and I go up, and it's going to go like that. So it's here, back down, here. Push it down. If you're training with them, push it back down. They're going to go, whoa, I felt my core. Holy cow. So instead of box jumps, teach more force absorption. Teach them how to land. If you know Olympic lifts, you know that's the first thing you need to do. Teach them how to land. Any questions? I'll leave it now for a few minutes to anybody who has anything. Now, this is my things. You may have different philosophies, but working with firefighters, and that's my life, by the way. It's my family. I take care of them. These are the things I have observed over the past 7 years. Yep. She said, the young lady said that the first thing she does is teaching them to take their shoes off. We actually, in the academy, have a big grassy field, and they run barefoot for the first week. Just little sprints. Because there is no physical way you could train a recruit's feet for those boots on the grinder all day long. Unless you want to buy boots and make them run, but then that's injury. So we strengthen their feet, and we'll teach force absorption. We've got to engage the feet more. And then they come back the next day, and what do they say? Feet are tired. Proprioception. Correct. Proprioception. Your foot is one of the highest sensory mechanisms. So they'll learn how to land. But more importantly, teach them to come down with it. I want you to absorb it. What is that going to help strengthen up? My muscles or my tendons? My tendons. Okay? Force absorption is going to do that. If they want a hard workout, make them jump rope. Okay? Make them jump rope. Any other questions? Well, with that, guys, I thank you for your